What's happening, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today as I talk about my top 10 favorite collected editions released this year. So, stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. So, continuing the celebration of the last week of the year, we are doing the top 10 collected editions that came out this year. So I take into consideration the restoration, the presentation, or sometimes these books just being available for the first time in oversized format or trade paperback sometimes. But my favorite reads that will come tomorrow, my top 10 favorite reads of 2021, almost at 2022, jumping ahead here. And that will continue the celebration. And again, I want to give a huge thank you to all the YouTube content creators that participated on yesterday's video. All right, so this is my top 10 list. And let me tell you, there were a lot of awesome books that came out this year. And this list was hard, just like it always is every year to put together. But let's go ahead and start. We're kicking it off with none other than Absolute Wonder Woman, Gods and Mortals, or as I like to call it, Wonder Woman by George Pérez. This is an amazing presentation of these stories. This is what kickstarts the post-Crisis on Infinite Earths Wonder Woman, retelling her origin, with the plot by George Pérez and the artwork by George Pérez. It is so beautiful to have in this absolute format. It's been available in trade paperbacks and in omnibus editions. As a matter of fact, the omnibus was just reprinted this year. And it makes me happy that it's back in stock in so many different formats because, well, we lost the legendary George Pérez this year. And I think this is a great way to honor him, to have stories like this collected in this beautiful edition. The slipcase is made to look like this gold finish to it, even though, of course, it doesn't. It's not really gold. Unless you're paying $125 for gold, that's retail price. But anyway, outside of the slipcase, there is actually, let's get it out of here. I know I'm doing a video within video, but there is a ribbon for the people that can't see that. There is a beautiful ribbon, and this is the oversized artwork you're going to be seeing in here. Again, retelling the origin of Diana, Princess Diana, and man, completely worth it to have in your library, whether it's your first Absolute edition or whether it's your next Absolute edition to get. They did a really awesome job with this one here. And it was hard because there were a lot of wonderful Absolute editions that came out this year from DC Comics. The Incal, the Deluxe Slipcase edition from Humanoids Books. Now, this is finally back in print. It's the dimensions of the previous limited edition one. This one does come with a print. I'll show it here in a little bit as the book is spinning down here because picture within picture. But anyway, this is Jodorowsky's and Moebius's masterpiece. The Incal will put you in a state of mind that not a lot of comics will. It's a sci-fi story mixed with fantasy elements, mixed with surrealism, and you'll want for more. Now, luckily, there are more stories that follow in the same universe, like the Meta Barons or Techno Priest, but this is the one that kickstarted it all. I've done an overview of this on my channel. As a matter of fact, I've done an overview of most of these books that I'll be showing here if you want to go and check out a more in-depth overview of these books without going too much into spoilers. But this restoration and presentation is beautiful, and it does come in this slipcase edition, and it has a ribbon, and you all know how I love those things, but it comes with a little portfolio. The original printing, the limited edition printing, did not, and the portfolio piece is of this amazing scene from the actual story, both the black and white and the color right there together. Again, this beautiful, sturdy slipcase that's supposed to keep the book intact even if it falls off your shelf. You don't want this to fall off your shelf. You don't want it to ding. Beautiful book, and I'm glad that it's back in print in this beautiful oversized format. The only way to really appreciate and read the Incal, but absolutely had to make the list. The Girl from the Other Side, the hardcover edition. This is published by 7 Seas. And this one is written and drawn by Nagabe. This is a beautiful presentation of this manga. I love this thick matte paper that they're using for the inside of the book. The leather bound, of course it's faux leather, but it doesn't matter. It looks like a beautiful leather bound edition. The gold imprint right here on the side, which I'm sure you'll see closer down there, with the image from the book. There's a brand new cover by Nagabe on each of these. There's going to be a total of 4 of these, and each one holding 3 of the original tankobon. The story is beautiful about the outsiders who are these demonic looking beasts and the inside people who are human folks, and they're never supposed to meet or cross each other's paths, yet this beast is taking care of this little girl who just wants to see her. I believe she's looking for her grandmother and then her aunt. Oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful presentation that should not be missed by anybody. Whether you're a fan of manga or whether you're into just good stories, absolutely love this. I thought that this is the type of presentation that I want to see a lot of manga head towards, and actually have a list that I'm working on my videos of the deluxe hardcover editions of manga that I want to see in 2023, or I guess 2024, in the future sometime. But absolutely, this is a beautiful book. Miracleman Omnibus, finally in a format that does this story justice. It has all the extras in here. As a matter of fact, this is one of the books that I remember looking at, and it has about half the book are nothing but extras. Original sketches, original art, some original covers when it was over at Eclipse. But Marvel released this year, and then we got Neil Gaiman continuing his story. But this is all of Alan Moore's run. And honestly, it does have a beginning and a good ending that you don't need to read anymore, but you'll want to. You'll want to see where Alan Moore takes the character of Miracleman or Marvel Man, depending on when you first were introduced to the character. It's got beautiful artwork in here by Gary Leach, who we lost this year, and Alan Davis. And this omnibus edition is just a beautiful presentation of the story. This one has a lot of mature themes in here. Don't expect the Avengers or X-Men type of stories. I mean, there's a lot of violent scenes in here. And there's some sexual content in here. So it's not your average Marvel superhero type of story. Even though Miracleman does kind of belong in that universe now. It's really interesting to see where they're going to go with the character. But I could not recommend this higher. Of course, this was a nice surprise to have this year. So getting a continuation by Neil Gaiman is a plus too. Hopefully we'll get that in some kind of format next year. Or I guess when he's done with the, he's working on Silver Age right now. So whenever he's done with the Dark Age. Uncle Scrooge by Carl Barks, the Diamond Jubilee edition. So this is a beautifully put together book. The paper stock really makes the artwork and colors pop. And it's weird to say that because some of these stories were from the 50s, 60s, going into the 70s, and even some released after Carl Barks passed away in 2000 that were released overseas. But I think Fantagraphics really outdid themselves with this. Of course, we all want it to be like that beautiful $200 presentation that they did with The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck by Don Rosa. But this is $100, so it's $100 less than that one. It's a little bit smaller. I did a size comparison when doing my video overview of this book. But it's an anthology collecting some of the best stories of Uncle Scrooge by Carl Barks and done in chronological order. You're not going to get his first appearance in here because he's such a different character when he first appeared on Christmas on Bear Mountain. But you are going to get some iconic characters appear in here, like Magica the Spell and the Beagle Boys, and of course Uncle Scrooge. Who is he without the nephews and Donald Duck? So they all show up in here. And the artwork in here, the way that it's done in this oversized format, makes me wish they would go back and redo the entire Carl Barks library, even though it's going to take us over a decade to get all of them. And make them in this size. I know I'm probably alone and crazy in that way, but I think it really belongs. Maybe it's my old eyes that I need things to look bigger so I can read them easier. Yeah, that's what it is. The Question Omnibus by Dennis O'Neil and Dennis Cowan. This is a volume 1, so I hope this sells well enough, or has sold well enough, to warrant a volume 2 from DC Comics. We'll see. This has been one of my most wanted DC Omnis for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's longer than even before I started my channel. I just loved how obscure this era of comics were, and having this character of the Question, who's an original Charlton character, just be in the shadows of Rorschach from Watchmen because of everything that Alan Moore did in that book. And I thought that how in the world are they going to make a comic book about the Question, who now I'm sure a lot of people see as a rip-off of Rorschach. But no, as a matter of fact, Dennis O'Neil actually makes fun of the idea that the Question could be Rorschach in one issue in here. I love that issue. But yes, this is a series I never thought would be collected in omnibus format. It was such a huge surprise when it snuck into the catalog and then eventually solicitations. And here we are. End of the year. It made my list. Now get us a volume 2, please. Invisible Kingdom, the library edition, published by Dark Horse Comics, by G. Willow Wilson, Christian Ward. This is another one that I put on the list because of the beautiful artwork, the beautiful colors, and the oversized format really helping those colors and art stand out. It really does look like an intergalactic masterpiece. Well, on my overview, I mentioned that Christian Ward's aliens and sometimes spaceships don't seem like they're that creative. The colors really make them stand out and make them feel unique. Like it's its own part of the universe that could exist somewhere. And I think that it really shines in this format. And of course, the story by G. Willow Wilson is solid too. She's the lady that brought us, co-created Miss Marvel, Kamala, for Marvel Comics. But yes, I love that Dark Horse keeps making these library editions, and they should continue making them. And it comes with a ribbon. That's right. This one, not only is a cool story in this beautiful oversized format, but it comes with a ribbon. Ribbons are pluses, man. It doesn't make that doesn't really mean that you make it on the list, but they're a plus. They're definitely a plus. Echolands by J.H. Williams III, W. Hayden Blackman, and Dave Stewart supplying the colors. Holy crap. First of all, it's in this beautiful landscape format. So it's not like your traditional comics. It doesn't look like your trade paperbacks. It looks like you took your trade paperback and you shifted it like this. And oh my gosh, what a nice surprise. Freaking awesome. I thought this was such a beautiful treat. The artwork is amazing. The story is all about Hope Red Hood stealing a gem from a villain, and her band of misfits now are on the run through these weird, crazy, and amazing worlds. And if you've not read it, do yourself a favor. This hardcover came out this year, and it was such an awesome surprise. As a matter of fact, this isn't the only landscape book that we got this year. We get a lot of them from time to time, more than I thought, but this is the one that stood out to me. And of course, a lot of it has to do with the beautiful artwork by J.H. Williams III. Like, I've done a thorough overview of this if you want to definitely check it out, just to do the video justice, so I'm not here and the lights aren't glimmering on it, so you're not really seeing exactly what the artwork and landscape art can do for the story. But man, having him co-plot it, it just really helps him flesh out where exactly he wants his panels to lay out. Love it, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. Hopefully we'll get a volume 2 sometime, but for now, this is all there is. For now. Fantastic Four, Full Circle by Alex Ross. Of course this had to make it on the list. Now this is a interesting release because it wasn't published by Marvel Comics. It was kind of a co-op with Abrams Books, but Abrams is the one that actually published it. It was on the solicits for them, and they're the ones that you can get it through. And there was a limited edition. That's what I'm holding here. The Slipcase edition was the limited edition that kind of came and went. And it was just a book that kept getting delayed, and then out of nowhere they were like, oh, let's go ahead and release it this week. And that happens because of everything that's been going on with books. Not just books, but there's been so many delays everywhere for anything, whether it's video games, toys. But at least we're getting medicine, right? Like, that's the important thing. Like, medication's actually being delivered on time. But there were a lot of delays with books and collected editions, especially in the months of July, August, and September. And this book just kind of snuck up on us. That's why it went out of print so quick, or rather, it sold out so quick. And it does come inside of a slipcase. And I've done, like I said, an overview of this too. Even the slipcase, or the book that's in here, has a dust jacket, and it's just a beautiful story by Alex Ross, and going back to the basics of Fantastic Four, the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby era. It's a follow-up to one particular story, This Man, This Monster, and of course it helps to know, who the characters in the Negative Zone are. And when people ask me, like, do you have to know everything about the Fantastic Four to enjoy this? I would at least read This Man, This Monster, and maybe the first appearance of a nihilist just to get a little bit of an understanding of the negative zone. But 100% made it on this list. No matter if you can find the slipcase or whether you can find the standard hardcover, beautiful book, 100% recommended. And to wrap up the list for the year, Parker, The Last Call, the Martini edition. From IDW, this is Darwin Cook's last story he got to work on before we sadly lost him a couple of years ago. And it's amazing that this is a story that took forever to be released in this format. We kept hearing about it. Actually, it was supposed to be released in 2021. It kept getting delayed and delayed. And then, of course, we had the delays this year in 2022. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting what year we're in. But it's finally out, and it was worth the wait. There's even a short story in here by Ed Brubaker. And you all know how much I love Brubaker. And you could be a big fan of Brubaker yourself. And it just feels different. It doesn't feel like the tone that Darwin Cook was going for. And it's so weird because it's both Brubaker and Phillips who are a fan of crime noir, obviously. But yes, this is Richard Stark's Parker. Oh my gosh, and it was such a good read too. But it comes in this slipcase edition like the original Martini. And this, you got this leather-bound book right here. And it's printed in this thick matte paper. I've done, like I said, on most of these, actually all of these, a thorough overview on them. And the color tones are just beautiful. The art really stands out. And it's a shame because he was working on the next set of books and passed away. Man, what could have been. But at least we got this. And of course it made it on the list as one of the most beautiful releases of 2022. Now, if you're interested in purchasing some of these books, all of these books, because they're all in print, with the exception of the Fantastic Four slipcase, check out our sponsors. If you live in Europe and are interested in buying and pre-ordering Omnis, then you should definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and DC books within the EU, flat rate shipping of €12 for all EU countries, bulletproof packaging, and all emails will be answered within 24 hours. They offer a huge selection of out-of-print books. Just head over to waltscomicshop.com for more great deals and rare titles. And for a limited time, you can use the code nearmintcon, all one word at the checkout, to get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order of over €40. Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for Omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was it. That was my list of top 10 releases of 2022. How did that get up there? Oh, New Warriors. That one is special. That one is very special. That is a symbol of everything that I've worked for on this channel that actually got released. But I couldn't put it on the list because I had to make it fair. Of course, this is the Omar Omnibus, so it had to make it on the list. But in all seriousness, this was a pleasure to get to do, and it's a pleasure to keep doing every year. And every one of these companies have put out a beautiful book, and there were so many other beautiful editions that came out this year, whether through Kickstarter or some other crowdsource funding. Let me know in the comments down below what your most wonderful editions that you picked up this year that have been released in 2022. Again, my video for my top 10 reads will come out tomorrow, and then to keep going with the celebration is the upcoming collected editions for January of 2023. We're already there. That video will be out Friday, I hope, if everything goes right. But that's it. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.